World? No, let's bring in Dan McTeague, President of Canadians for Affordable Energy, former Liberal MP with us now. Dan, thanks for the time. I hope you're doing well.
I am, and very happy that reality is finally starting to become part of the decision-making, not only at Queen's Park, but even among some of those who are writing about what the recent minister has just stated. So it's a breath of fresh air. Finally, we realize that there is going to be something called energy diversity, and you can't pick one over the other.
The language has certainly changed, has it not?
Well, I think the language in terms of the decision by the government, as well as how it is, how it is articulated. In the case of the Toronto Star article that I saw, it didn't have the kind of combative, climate only and everything bad except for windmills and AKA bird choppers. That can't be built without a lot of fossil fuels and Chinese-made photovoltaic or solar panels, or worse, expensive, costly, and frankly unaffordable and unreliable battery storage systems. So all of these things, I think, are starting to take hold slowly but surely. The pushback is coming. I think we may be getting back to a point, Scott, of balance in our discourse about energy reliability and energy affordability. Those things really do matter in a real, veritable way. And any politician that's proposing otherwise is going to be quickly shown the door. Talk to my former Liberal colleagues as to what their fate will be in the next 500 days or so.
You bring up a very valid point, Dan. You said balance, and I look at that versus extremism, and that's what we're seeing with the all of the above approach. It's going to take all hands on deck to do this. We all know what the common goal is. It's just the journey to get there, and I can't believe we've spent so much time fighting about those extremes.
Well, it makes you kind of wonder, in a province, in a jurisdiction which was among the first in the world to adopt, Tesla's technology for, AC versus, DC currents, and being able to provide quick, affordable, dispatchable energy. Then we followed that up in 1965 with the decision to start building nuclear reactors. And then we followed that up with mixture of, peaker plants and in peak times, or when something doesn't work out well, we have natural gas backup. I think all those things work, and that's I think there is no one out there who can now debate the idea that we shouldn't have a diverse menu of energy options that are at once best technologies used. We are world leaders when it comes to these things, and here in Ontario, of course, 82% of our power generation is either hydroelectric or nuclear. And you can't make an argument any way, shape, or form, no matter how much money you have as a charity or a foundation funded by various organizations around the world, to say otherwise. Those are clean forms of energy. Now, on the natural gas side, we got to this point today on natural gas because we had a bunch of marshmallow councillors who 3 years ago said there's a climate emergency, and they voted for that. You then had the Ontario Clean Air Alliance group, Jack Gibbons and his group, going around saying, well, if you said there's a climate emergency and you have a resolution of the effect, you should also move towards shutting down natural gas plants. Thank God we didn't, and we didn't listen to him. The province is not listening to him and his organization. This is the same organization, by the way, that won the closure of 10, 12 years ago, the closure of those coal plants in favor of, guess what, building those natural gas plants, which they now want shut. That aside, I think what we're looking at here is a redefining, I think, of our energy needs, and I think everybody's on board now to realizing that we can do it all, but we don't have to kill ourselves in the process. And at the same time, recognize that while we have a few of our nuclear reactors laid up, Bruce and Pickering, and to a lesser extent even Darlington or Clarington, as they called it today, it's just 2 weeks ago we had hot weather. We haven't had it since, or 3 weeks ago at the end of May. We hit 94, 93% capacity. We came damn close to seeing brownouts were it not for those backup natural gas generators. So, look, we're going to build all these electric vehicle battery plants. They're not going to be fueled on hamsters on wheels or on windmills. They have to be fueled either by new technology, which hasn't happened yet, small nuclear reactors, or we're going to have to rely more on the existing grid, which is powered to a large extent, about 20%, by natural gas.
It's fine. It's funny you're using the term diversity when it comes to talking about our energy sources. We seem to praise diversity everywhere except where it comes to energy. It's as if this has been kept a secret. It's the same thing what happened in Hamilton with the steelmaking stuff. I mean, it's going electric. It's going electric. And I remember asking her, well, how's that going to happen? Oh, don't worry. And then, of course, a month later, there's an approval process going on to build a natural gas pipeline to the site to fortify all this and make sure that it happens. None of that was sold, Dan. It's like it's this or it's that. It's like they're keeping the transition a secret.
Well, the transition, where it is revealed to fall well short. And we don't have $2 or $3 trillion. And we recognize very quickly that, we've gone as far as we could to now with existing technology on how we want to make that so-called transition, which is why I think net zero is a foolish concept. It's nice to pursue these things, but at the end of the day, you have to be real about the country you live in. And that's true of EVs, that's true of methane mandates or caps on emissions or carbon taxes, not just the first one that we know about. That's 18 cents, 17.61. The second carbon tax, which kicks in soon, that's going to go up to about 17 cents a liter by 2030. The third carbon tax, the one no one ever likes to talk about, output-based pricing system. That's a tax imposed on manufacturing in our province and across the country, but our province has accepted it, which is then passed on to you and I as consumers. I think what's made me very happy in all this, Scott, and why this cause for optimism is that after 8 years of ringing this bell of energy affordability, no one thought it was a big deal. They always thought climate was the big deal, and everything else came as a secondary consideration, if any consideration at all. Today, if you're not talking about affordability, practicality, and reality, you might as well stop talking because no one's going to listen to you, especially when you base a lot of your policies based on hysteria, not on principle, fact, or science.
Dan McTeague, President of Canadians for Affordable Energy, former Liberal MP. Dan, as always, thanks for the time. Be well.
Good to be here. Thanks again, Scott. Cheers.